You ever heard that sound in January? You only hear that sound at Dodger Stadium in the summer. But today, yesterday, last week, 2 months ago, doesn't matter when this offseason, that's the song you need to wake up to every day from here on out until opening night and hopefully World Series clincher in October or November. Welcome, folks. This is the Dodgers Fast Pitch. It's just a kind of a test name a little bit right now. You're on the Lakers Fast Break. This is actually a Laker channel, but we are LA Sports here, at least I am. And I am a huge Dodger fan, and I'm now starting to do a little test run on whether this is something that should be the norm for us here at the Lakers Fast Break, merged into other things as well. So again, if this is the first time you've been on here, welcome. For the regulars, yes, folks, I'm getting you guys early here, and I'm getting you on a different topic here. If you're Laker fans, you have to be Dodger fans to probably like this. If you're not Dodger fans, then you're probably just going to be here for the entertainment. But again, it's entertainment nonetheless. So again, welcome for the regulars as well as the new people. I'm sure they're going to be bouncing in here and out. I did purposely put in a particular wallpaper slash thumbnail there that probably will draw attention. And then, of course, the breaking news. It's not technically breaking news as of the last 10 minutes, but it definitely is breaking news for this morning. And the Cup of Joe is kind of a show that we do every now and then as a hello, wake up in the morning and let's talk a little bit about basketball is usually what it is. But today and this entire offseason, to be honest with you, I think it's about Laker. It's about Dodger. It's about the Dodgers. The Dodgers just signed. The best reliever in baseball, Tanner Scott, formerly of the San Diego Padres. And what can I say other than and a lot of cheering? Yeah. Not only are they purging from free agency, they are now purging from their enemies. So they purged Blake Snell from San Francisco, and they've purged Tanner Scott from the Padres. Now, I'm not going to say that Roki Sasaki signing yesterday was necessarily a purge from the San Diego Padres because he was never a Padre, but they did deflect that. And obviously, you all saw what the result of that is. So what's up, guys? Yes, I'm doing a little test run here on the Dodgers Fast Pitch. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that name, but I thought it sounded cool. Let's see here. Blue, you're already in here, and we're talking Dodger Blue. So we're going to start with the Blue Magic because not only is the Dodgers blue, but minority owner Magic Johnson. And by the way, Magic, congratulations on your Washington Commanders. What is it with Magic? Every time he goes anywhere, he turns things into gold. You know how bad the Commanders were / Redskins were the last 30 plus years? Terrible. And the moment that guy is involved in any kind of ownership decision, minority or not, look where they are. Going to the NFC Championship game with a rookie quarterback and a rookie coach. My hat's off. Again, my hat's off to Dan Quinn. I had no confidence in you being hired in Washington. I didn't really dog on you, but I was not really impressed. I stand corrected. Congratulations, sir. You have your franchise quarterback. You are going to go places here as long as he stays healthy. So congratulations to Washington. I'm sorry for my family who are huge Detroit Lions fans, but this is the bad end of sports is when your team is supposed to win and they don't. Yeah, you're going to feel the hurt. And hopefully next year they can make up for it, maybe go all the way next year. So congratulations to them. Yes, Blue, Otani is pitching next year. He is pitching next year. He is likely not going to start in Japan. Actually, it's 100% he's not starting in Japan. And I don't think he's going to start probably till May. I think Dave Roberts already hinted at that in one of his interviews from a few weeks ago. So look for Otani to pitch in May. And I don't know necessarily if it has anything to do with his pitching arm. I think it has more to do with the fact that he had left labrum surgery for the little pop-up that he had in Game 2 in the World Series. I think they want to give that a good amount of time to heal. Usually that I had that in my right, by the way, the torn labrum. The problem was What I did was I didn't do anything with it for 10 years. So it was extensively torn. I was lifting weights. I was doing push-ups. I was doing God knows what, sleeping on it night in and night out, where I just neglected it. And it took me a couple of years to recover. I still have a little arthritis in it, but as long as I keep the muscles strong around it, I don't really feel any pain. But Otani, I think what they're doing here, since I think he had surgery, what was it, in November? So it's November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So it makes sense. That injury is supposed to take 6 months to 12 months to heal. So I think that's why they're going to hold Otani to May. So that's what's going on there. Roy Estrada. I always see you in all the Dodger chats. Joe, later do a research on the PO. You know what's hilarious, guys? Let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson, okay? This guy, Jim Bowden, he's getting a lot of pub. He knows what he's doing, guys. This is a marketing tactic. Jim Bowden got docked in the 90s for doing some stuff to the international pool or whatever it is that they call it now. He was accused. He was investigated about doing some shady stuff. And I find it hilarious that he's pulling this stuff off without actually any proof. Like, dude, you were the one that got it. Projection, folks, projection. Always be weary of the people who are very adamant about calling you a cheater, calling you a liar, calling you out in any way, because more often than not, those guys are doing the same thing. It's kind of like when I go buy certain supplies, you have certain management that's very paranoid that they're going to get ripped off. And you could just tell by their demeanor. You'll just kind of see their body language. They have massive OCD or they have ADHD, something like that. And it's usually OCD is kind of, in my book, kind of a good thing. You know, you want things done right. But ADHD, you can just see them kind of buzzing around because guys like that typically are always looking for something wrong. They're always looking to do something wrong. And they got to kind of watch their back and then watch the people that they think might be thieves, whatever. So Jim Bowden, that guy is quintessential projector, quintessential. And somebody heard him in the Dodger organization back then. I think that's what it's kind of like the George Karl of baseball. George Karl hates the Lakers, and anything good about the Lakers, he'll always flip to a bad because he's 0 for 6 against the Lakers in every series in the playoffs, whether he was coaching the Golden State Warriors back in the 80s, whether he was coaching the Seattle Supersonics, and he had some great teams in the 90s too. Like, they had no business losing to the Lakers in those series, and he did. Losing the Lakers in the 90s, and of course losing to the Lakers in the 2000s when he was coaching in Denver. That's who Jim Bowden is. He's the George Karl of baseball to the Dodgers. So yeah, sabotaging. I mean, what? If you got something, bring it then. If you're gonna yap, bring the proof. We need evidence. That's something that you have to. Yeah, Stan Kasten. I'm sorry, I didn't get the chance to read this here, Blue. Stan Kasten was the one who fired him. Okay, so it's not necessarily the Dodgers. It's actually Stan Kasten. So whatever. Deal with it. Deal with it. You see this, guys? You're probably wondering, why the hell is Joe wearing green? I'm a Laker fan. What the hell is going on? Why is Joe wearing green? And how the hell does it say LA on it? Well, folks, the competition is just green with envy. I wore this on purpose. I am a dad. I thought it was a good dad joke to wear a green with envy LA Dodger gear on a January day that has no reason to wear green. But I did get this hat yesterday, just in time for Roki signing. And of course, Tanner Scott's the aftershock of the Roki signing. And we're very happy here in Dodger land. We are expecting greatness beyond greatness at this point. The Dodgers have the best starting rotation in baseball on paper. They have the best bullpen, and that's not on paper. That's a fact. They just got the number one reliever in the league, and they were already the best. They already had the best relief pitchers bullpen in the league, in my opinion. And then, of course, 1 through 9. I mean, for first 4 guys, I'm not going to address the bad for baseball thing because I think that's been beaten to death. It's not bad for baseball. This is the next dynasty, and dynasty brings in the crowds. Those who don't want to believe that, that's on you. Well, that's another good one, Roy. Money, money, green money, 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 money. They spend it to make it, to win it. Dodgers are spending the money to win it, to make it, and that's how you do it. You reinvest in your business when they're doing well. You don't sit back, kick back, and relax. You never do that. Otherwise, you're not going to be a Tom Brady and you're not going to be a Michael Jordan. When you talk about greatness, see, greatness gets thrown around a lot in this world. Great should not be thrown around in any way. Great is only for the truly great. And right now, the Dodgers aren't great yet. They're not great yet, but they're close. They're getting there. They're going to have to win World Series titles. And as of right now, if we just look at the decade that's left, we have this coming year, which is 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. That's 5 years left, halfway through the decade. If the Dodgers end up winning 4 out of the next 5, that's greatness, because now they're sitting at 6 championships in a decade. And even if they win 5, that's still great. But I'm just kind of looking at it from a bigger area. Can they win 4 of the next 5? Can they win 3 of the next 5? I think 3 of the next 5 or 4 of the next 5 puts them in that category. Hell, there's a small chance that maybe 2 of the next 5 could be it. But to be honest with you, if they only won 2 championships in the next 5 years, I just don't know if that would have warranted all the stuff that they've done. This is a juggernaut that's being put together here that is supposed to dominate. It's supposed to rival, if not exceed, the Yankees of the late 90s. Now, that team won a 96, 97, I'm sorry, 96, 98, 99, 2000, and were just 1/2 inning away from 4-peating. And yeah. And that's how it's got to go. You got to beat that, guys. The Dodgers, with what they're doing, have to beat the Yankees team from 96 to 2001. And that team won 4 out of 6. Right now, they've won 2 out of the last 4, 2 of the last 5. So you look 2000, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They've won 2 championships of the last 5 years. They're going to probably have to win 3 more out of the next 5 at the very least to be, in my book, in that class. Now, there'll be a championship ahead of those guys. Now, you're probably wondering, wait, Joe, hold on a second, Joe. The Yankees won one in 09. Well, it's still the Jeter era. Sure. It's still the Mariano Rivera era, Posada, all those guys. But I don't consider the 09 championship for the Yankees part of that little clique in the late 90s and early 2000s. I consider that kind of its own, for the Yankees, its own little dynasty. 09 was kind of like an off year, not off year, but it was years later. You're talking about 10 seasons, 9 seasons later, where that team was able to get one more in with A-Rod at the helm as well. And he played okay in that run. But again, they ended up winning in 09. And that to me was like a separate thing. But this one here, much like how things are starting to separate from the 17, 18 teams, 16, 17, this is starting to become its own thing. In a lot of ways, this is probably its own thing, even away from 2020. That team has got some familiar faces on it, but I think in terms of this dynasty, this was the first one. So if you look at it from right now, from 2024 to 2029, that's those 6 seasons. If they win 4 of the next 6, now you're looking at, again, almost a similarity in terms of how those Yankees teams were, and any team in general that wins that many championships in such a short amount of span. So let me get to some of your guys' stuff here. I'm sorry if I'm behind here a little bit. I'll go back up here, guys, and I'll see everything here and try to give you guys some attention. Where are we here? How do we feel about the haters saying Dodgers ruined baseball? I think I addressed that. They can suck an egg. I don't give a shit. Joe, the Yamamoto and Snell start games too. Yeah, okay. So Roy, I feel very comfortable that Yamamoto is going to start game 1 in Tokyo, and then Snell I would definitely roll with that. I don't know if they're going to say, look, let's throw the Rook in there to kind of, because of the national pride and all that. So just kind of keep that on the back burner. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, and I'm sure Snell's not going to mind kind of taking the back seat on that. Where are we? How much can you shoulder press, Joe? That's funny coming from a guy named Lifted. Honestly, guys, I've gone to the machine on the shoulders. I rarely ever use the military press because it just worries me. However, I am strengthening my shoulder, and it's getting better. It's getting better. I'm trying not to coddle it. I don't know, it wasn't an epiphany, but I was watching this video on a very popular weightlifter. He's pretty popular online. His name is Mike O'Hearn. He's pretty controversial. He's very, very. He's kind of like the LeBron of the bodybuilding industry. He's got a knack of doing amazing things and saying amazing things, but he's also kind of douchey. But luckily, I only have to deal with him in certain clips. But he is the most knowledgeable weightlifter I think I've ever seen, not only from lifting but also diet. And he has preached numerous times that you want to be able to always try to lift as heavy as you can. If you coddle your body, you coddle your muscle will get coddled, and then you're going to deal with more issues. And this is a guy that's 55 years old who's still pushing. I think I saw him pushing 405 on the incline bench. So his strength is ridiculous. Natural or not, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But point is, I will be getting there lifted. I will be getting back to my military presses, but I got to first kind of make sure that this sucker won't bust out on me again. So that's kind of how I'm going to go with that. Yes, Aaron, let's effing go. And the Dodgers are going, baby. They're going. And guess where I'm going? Guess where I'm going in about a month. And my boy, EJ, if you're listening, shout out to EJ. Shout out to Empire Jeff. If you guys want the best Dodger coverage, you got to go. You got to go to Empire Jeff and just let the guy cook. Let the guy do his thing. A lot of knowledge, a lot of info. I'll just leave it at that. That usually materializes into platinum, not gold. I know this is gold, but this should be platinum. This is a platinum. This should be a platinum hat. Platinum, baby. Love gold, but platinum. It's platinum time. The year of the platinums. That's the nickname that I have for the Dodgers. They are oozing platinum right now. And we're going to be there in a month. Let's say at worst 5 weeks, depending on how our schedule goes. And we will probably be doing a show out there in Arizona for spring training. And we're going to get a chance to see what the boys got, how they're going to be preparing here for the season. And all 162 games, whether it's in Japan, whether it's at 3 a.m. in the morning, or whether it's at 7 o'clock in the evening, West Coast time, we are going to be involved. We are going to be watching, and we are going to be commentating. It is going to be an unprecedented year. Either way, there's two things that are going to happen this year, folks. Two things. One, the Dodgers win it all, and it just breaks everyone even more. It'll basically be what people are doing right now with the Kansas City Chiefs, just whining and crying, and the refs are helping them, and the league helps them, and the rich people, and mind you, most of the fan bases in Major League Baseball, they're supporting teams that have billionaire owners. If your owner doesn't want to spend the money, why is it our fault when we do? And when I say we, I say as the community. Okay, 4 million fans, 4 million, number one in attendance since 2012, since that movie came out. Actually, it came out before 2012, but you know what I'm talking about. Since when the world was supposed to end in 2012, the Dodgers have owned attendance in Major League Baseball. What do you want to, what is it you want? This is what greatness is. The Dodgers just won the World Series, so we can say great right now a little bit. They won the championship. Not only did they win, but they won in dominant fashion after Game 3 in the third inning. Seriously, that was really their last. The last bad loss because I'm not going to count the losses they had against the Mets or the Yankees because you guys they were playing against our bullpen, folks. They were playing against AAA pitching. I'm not going to count those games. Dave Roberts had to do what he had to do to preserve his 3-ace lineup, and at that time, it was 3 aces that he could throw out there. That's all he could throw out. Those were his aces. There wasn't any 1, 2, 3. It was, is this guy going to be the ace today? Is this guy going to be the ace today? Is this guy going to be the ace today? Whether it was Buehler, whether it was Yamamoto, or whether it was Flaherty. Either way, y'all saw after game 2, the Dodgers dominate the playoffs and beat the Yankees in Yankees Stadium. In Yankees Stadium. Yankee World Series, but I was only 4 years old. I didn't know my ear from my eyes. Literally, I didn't. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. So I never got a chance to experience that win in Yankee Stadium for the Dodgers, especially after they were down 0-2 in that series, coming back and winning 4 straight and winning the fourth game in Yankee Stadium. So with that, going back to the matters at hand, has a 4-year deal for $72 million. 4 years, 72. He, according to The Wire, wanted 4 years, 80. Now, I had a pretty good feeling that between the 60 and the 80, because I heard 60. In my head, I'm like, look, give the guy 15 per for 60. That's the deal I'll do. And it looks like they came into the middle. 21 million of that is deferred, by the way. So the LA deferreds, the LA deferreds is a nickname we're going to have to live with, Dodger fans. Don't let it bother you. This is a good thing. This is players wanting to come to LA, players that want to move their money away so that they can win. This is what it's about. This is how you use the system under the correct rules. And this is how you use your money to create the buzz. And when you win, the attention will all be on you. All these TV contracts that the Lakers, let's say, or the Dodgers have created. Now, with what's going on in LA, the LA Dodgers, now the next contract, the next Sportsnet contract, whatever contract they sign, what do you think that deal's going to be? So you're all worried about, spending all this money. Look, the money is coming from somewhere, okay? It's coming from billionaires, right? It's coming from TV contracts. Some teams can't seem to negotiate that. Some teams can't even get together and decide, hey, you run this team, and oh no, I want to run this team. They can't even figure that stuff out. These guys are supposed to be these powers of industries with all these lawyers and all these advisors and all these kiss asses and stuff, right? Look at what's going on in San Diego. The poor owner passes away a couple years ago. He bequeathed it allegedly to his brothers, and now his widow says, no, it's mine. Why? Why does she want it? Is it a Georgia Frontiere thing? For those of you who don't know what the hell that is, Georgia Frontiere ended up getting bequeathed to LA Rams / St. Louis Rams back in the day, and was known as the showgirl owner of the NFL. And there was always these issues. I wouldn't say it's compared to what Jeannie has going on right now, although it's pretty close. But Jeannie was more professional in her kind of ascent. So that's that. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to talk about anything negative tonight. I just want to focus on the Dodgers. The Dodgers right now, in my view, got the 2 best starting pitchers in the offseason. I know some will argue Burns is really one of the 2.
Yay! A subscriber!
I'm telling you right now, Roki Sasaki and Blake Snell, those are the 2 best pitchers on the market that the Dodgers got, and they just got the best reliever on top of that. You have Evan Phillips. You have Blake Tribe that you signed again. And then we're just waiting on Vesia's arbitration situation to clear out so we can get our another lefty home, to bring another lefty back home and to really solidify this sucker to the point where I don't even know if the Dodgers are going to let their pitchers pitch past the 5th inning at this point. Are they going to? I mean, you guys tell me. You guys tell me. Are we? Are we? And yes, my boy EJ just got home from handling business. He will be here shortly. We will talk some more Dodger baseball together. This time he's on the show. I usually go on his show, and we're going to make this a event. We're going to make this a regular thing because that's what we do, and I know everybody loves it. Scarlet and blue. A lot of blue out here today, guys. Never thought of Joe as a fanboy. Yeah, I love sports. I love sports. I can't. I mean, if you want to call me a fanboy to sports, I have had some negative things to say about sports lately, about how football's being played, how baseball, for a while there was being played with certain just pitching decisions and analytics, and then of course basketball being a three-point barrage. But in the end, guys, I'm addicted to competition. What else am I going to watch? What am I going to watch? Seriously, what shows do they have right now out that I'm going to watch that's going to entertain me like this? What shows are going to constantly revolve into something, good or bad? Nothing is like sports. Sports is supposed to be real. And when I say supposed to be real, we've seen some fake stuff the last few years with this circus with LeBron James's kid and all this stuff where you're like, dude, this is supposed to be professional sports. This is supposed to be, hey, I'm going to take my son to work day, and hey, you guys are going to pay him and you're going to draft him, put on this whole facade of whatever. Like, no, we're not doing that here with the LA Dodgers. I'll tell you that. LA Dodgers only acquire the highest of scotches, the highest of whiskeys, the highest of champagne, the highest of wine. And that's what it's about. When you have the resources and you want to win, can't take the money with you, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot take the money with you. What are you doing? What exactly are you doing when you're saving all this money? Owner of the Pirates, owner of the Marlins, owner of the, I'm not going to put the Mets in there because obviously Cohen is spending money. But what are you doing over there, owners of the Cubs, owners of the Cardinals? Seriously, where are you taking this money? Where are you taking it? Where? I'm just kind of curious. You got historic teams with historic fan bases, and you're not doing anything. You want to know when I knew Tanner Scott was going to be a Dodger? When I heard the Cubs were making a run at him yesterday, I said, I was like, what are you talking about? Cubs what? They're not going to pay $20 million for Tanner Scott. They're not going to pay even $15 million. What are you, nuts? So with that, I am now going to bring on my boy, my friend, my Dodger, I wouldn't say twin, maybe one day, but my guy, Empire Jeff. Empire Jeff, welcome to the Dodgers Fast Pitch. It is the first show. It's not technical yet, but we're going to probably test it a little bit. And I don't know if you heard me all the way through from the beginning, but I was funny. I needed to go get my gear because I needed to be like you, because I know you guys all wear your Dodger gear. I usually wear whatever I'm wearing when I'm going on the show. But I said, hey, man, I got to wear something good. So, of course, the green one was sitting underneath because I usually wear this on St. Patrick's Day. It's my daughter's birthday, too. So I was like, all right, I'm going to buy this green piece of shit. Just for one day, I have an excuse to wear green. But then I thought, man, the envy out there, envy green. I'm like, damn, that just sounds too good. So again, welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining us here on an impromptu Sunday morning. I woke up to Jeff Passan's X tweet, whatever the hell they call him now. And about 18 minutes after you tweeted it, and I was still kind of like getting the things out of my eyes. I'm like, is that say Tanner Scott to the Dodgers? So again, welcome, Jeff. Do your thing, baby. Tell us this is the one that you said was going to happen. And you didn't say it 100%, but every time you said it, something about it, you had a smirk on your face. Tell us why you had a smirk on your face.
I knew it was happening, but I also know that I don't fancy myself a newsbreaker. I don't fancy myself as law when it comes to speaking on things that are about to happen. And I know that things can go wrong even when you think it can happen. So I had to smirk because I knew, and you were on the show with me, Joe. I got a text. What was that show? Thursday night? I got a text from a guy who's rarely wrong. Everyone is wrong, but I read it on the show saying the Dodgers have stepped up their efforts. They have 2 retroactive moves that could be made if he does not accept, and they were basically giving him a deadline by the weekend. And that's why I was saying that I thought Roki, the reason I had a feeling Roki was going to sign before the weekend, one was because I felt he was going to have respect for some of those other international pool players and to get on a team. Secondly, I knew the Dodgers were about to impose a deadline on Tanner Scott for the weekend, and I didn't believe the Dodgers were going to do that unless they believed they would have an answer from Roki by the weekend. So that's why I was pretty confident. I went to bed last night believing we had him. I didn't think it was going to be announced until tonight. So I had was going to plans to be out this morning, get all my stuff done, was ready to do a show tonight, and those punks released it in the morning. But I woke up to a bunch of messages and texts, and oddly enough, the green shirt, that's great. Shout out to the Irish portion of the blood in my veins. Money green as well. And contrary to what you believe, I don't always change to do the show. I just really haven't taken off Dodger gear since they won. So, so this is what I would wear for the day, right? But no, Joe, this is something that you and we talked about this a couple nights ago. Everything that has happened this offseason, we were talking during the night while we were drinking champagne when the Dodgers won the World Series. We talked about every single one of these moves. And we didn't talk about it like the Lakers thing. Oh, the Lakers think they're getting everybody. No, this is the Lakers fast pitch. Dodgers fast pitch, bitch. We know what we're talking about. All right. Sorry, it's gonna take some getting used to. Shout out to Dodgers fast pitch. This is incredible. I've been pushing Joe to get off his Dodger ass. And the purple side of his cheeks, get to be the blue side. Get off your Dodger ass and start doing this. The people Joe, I can't carry all the water. I need help. Right? And you're too good to not do it. So, secondly, like I said, me and Joe have been talking about this, and it's funny because me and Joe go down this path of talking so much basketball for forever. And as soon as it so I don't remember when it was, but it was during one of your Lakers streams, and I said something about the Dodgers that wasn't your average take. And I saw the infamous Joe Soro eyebrow move, right? He caught it, and he was like, "Oh, a fisherman always spot another fisherman from afar." And it was right then and then we knew, man, we can do this Dodger thing too. And lucky enough for me, I'm kind of a rip and run kind of solo bandit, no crew. I just go and do what I want when I want, kind of thing. Like Joe was still holding on the Laker thing. But now he's here. He's ready. The Dodgers are forming the Avengers. When it comes to YouTube, we're forming Voltron when it comes to Dodger coverage and Laker coverage. And Joe's going to be great at this. He's already great at this. And the Dodgers are great at this, Joe. And the green is for the money. The green is for the envy. And this is for anyone that has a problem with it. And this is for anyone that has a problem with it. And these other owners, Joe, need to stop spending money on yachts, implants, and veneers and start spending it on their teams over these next few years. And one more thing I want to point out. I'm going long. I'm going to shut up real quick.
You go until you want to stop.
One more thing I want to point out.
Show, baby.
One more thing. Appreciate it. One more thing I want to point out. The Dodgers will be spending, when it's all said and done, roughly about $400 million in luxury tax. $4 million. Now, for a lot of people who don't know how that money is used, it's really a competitive balance tax. So not only this is the part that drives me nuts. Not only are these owners not spending their own money, they're not even spending the money the Dodgers are giving to them for them spending their money. It's called a luxury tax. And these teams are not using it as a luxury towards their team. They're using it as luxury in their lives. That's not our problem. That's your problem. Talk to your owners. Hit up a suggestion box. It's not our problem. Our business is winning championships. Yours is crying. So cry over there. Let us win over here and go away. Go ahead, Joe.
I mean, come on, guys. What else can you say? And this is there's a topic here I'm going to explain. I wanted to wait for you to get on here because we had sort of talked about it, but not really. And then I saw a post on one of my Lakers sites that I go to that hinted at the ownership that the Guggenheims have in the Lakers. Mm-hmm. And I had hinted before, we had discussed a little bit about there was a line that I heard years ago with Dr. Jerry Buss, owner of the Lakers, when they would talk about, well, Jerry, somebody had said, Jerry, we can't spend this, this is going to be complicated according to the current CBA or the salary cap. And he always used to say, we'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you guys, for those of you who don't know, Dr. Buss was half a genius. He was a chemistry PhD from USC. The guy,
He's a doctor.
the guy was a doctor of chemistry. Like, he was legitimate, right? So his Genie said that he used to have a calculator on his desk, right? A big calculator. And for us here now, like, you hear calculator, I was like, oh, I have a calculator on here. All right. Look, we're talking about early 80s. Like, when
Industrial.
when you see a big calculator in the early 80s, like, well, what the hell is this, right? So she said that he had that calculator with the big things, not for him. It was for your ass. Like, when he would start doing numbers, he'd be like, all right, here's this calculator.
The size of a Fiat.
Go, right? Here you go. I mean, they're probably like looking like, what the fuck is this? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's like, no, go ahead, write it down. So 4,883 times 3,345. It's 57,000. Like, and they're like, what? Like, you can imagine that whole situation. The guy was a genius. He saw things ahead of the game. He really did. So much so that people forgot or didn't know, right? Because media wasn't as big back then. When you see that little in Chicago, all that spectacle. See, that's when TV and Sports Center and all those things really blossomed in the 90s. So everyone thought that the Bulls created that spectacle. Wrong. That was Dr. Buss creating that, and that was the residual of it. Everything that started then became better because of that guy. The Lakers were the Elgin Baylors before the Dr. J and the Michael Jordan. Now, if you're wondering what the point of the story is that guys like Dr. Buss, guys like the Guggenheims and their crew, they're going to reinvent this thing. They already are. So all these rules, oh, well, Joe, there's no salary cap in baseball. There's no this. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't have mattered. They would have found another way. I go, you know how I know? Because I watched the Lakers for 30 years. They always found a way. Who the hell would have ever thought they were going to get Paul Gasol for Kwame Brown, Javaris Crinton, second-round draft pick of some guy we didn't know at the time? Sure, he turned out to be great, but I'm like, guys, this stuff wasn't only the Lakers were doing stuff like that. That's why they had to change all this. So now, much like Will Chamberlain back in the day, now I'm going to be waiting to see what these owners are going to do. Although you did bring up a good point there, my friend. Are the owners really going to complain? They're sitting back, letting the Dodgers not only do what they do, but they're also giving them money to do it.
Have you heard an owner complain? Have you heard an owner complain?
There hasn't been one owner that's complained. Not like the guys in San Antonio or Dallas or Cleveland when the Lakers were doing their thing. Notice that, guys. That's on your teams. Eat it, drink it, swallow it, okay? If the Dodgers win the World Series for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years, you're going to sit there and you're going to have to look in the mirror or look in the whatever that picture is on the main sites of your favorite team, who the owner is, who the GM is. You need to look at them and go demand it. And if you really are a tough guy and you want to be all, hey, man, this is cheating. Okay, do this then. Don't go to the games and see how fast it changes. But you won't. You don't. You know why? Because they want to do this. Yeah, I want to do this. That's how they know you got you. And revenge is a bitch. You took away titles from us. Freaking Bud Selig let that freaking monstrosity buy the team, McCourt. This is just retribution, guys. And you're gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to deal with it, and you have to deal with it for a long time. And I'm not necessarily gonna rub it in when we win. I'm gonna rub it in when you act like a bitch.
Okay? It doesn't count. You rub it in.
You want to hate the Dodgers? I've been dealing with Dodger hate my whole life, okay? I was in Central California during 1988. I had A's fans on one side, and you know how brutal kids are. A's fans on one side, I had the Giants fans on the other. I was getting brutalized as a 10-year-old by all the shit talking. Man, no one talks shit more than a 10-year-old, okay? 10, 12-year-old, those guys are brutal. But, man, when Kirk Gibson hit that home run and when Oral finished that Game 5, woo-hoo-hoo, when I came to school that day, I was just like, yeah. So, yes. So, you know, when we're talking about kind of the new structure, the new way of doing things, The Dodgers are setting a precedent here. What's your assessment on what this is going to do for Major League Baseball in the next, let's say, couple of years? Because we know that the CBA is coming to an end here soon. How are they going to, I guess, adjust? Is the right word?
I think what you might see is just more luxury tax, right? I think what's going to see. I also see. So not only do you see the owners not saying nothing, you don't see many executives either because their bosses are telling them to shut up, right? Because, like you said, the money is going to the pockets of these guys. The Dodgers know that. The Guggenheim groups know this, right? They talk to these guys. Guys, the Phillies were the team that helped the Dodgers get this done. The Phillies, all right? The Phillies were the team that helped get this done. Okay, because again, this is, I don't want to use the word collusion, but these teams who want to spend and the teams that don't want to spend almost have a general understanding, like they do about not allowing Bauer back in the league, like they do about all these different things. These billionaires, yes, they compete. Yes, some of them want to win. Some of them want to take the money. Some of them want to win and make money, and some of them want to win, make money, and spend all the money to do both. Now, that third tier is very few and far between. Now, where I think this does change things here, Joe, is the amount of games that the Dodgers play in. It's kind of funny, but I think like the Dodgers are going to help the Padres get a better TV deal because the amount of times that they play the Dodgers, the Giants, like all these teams now, with every team in the league now playing the Dodgers, right? Now it's every other. So like you play the Yankees in their stadium one year, then you play them at home this year. You're playing every team in the league at least bare minimum once a year, right? So this team that the Dodgers have are like the dream team, like the traveling spectacle that is going to drive revenue league-wide. And now you bring in a whole other continent over here to drive revenue league-wide. And what it's going to do is the Dodgers are not only cornering the market with the Japanese players, but they're, believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, there's going to be a guy they don't get. There's going to be a guy they don't even chase, that goes somewhere else. And because of the Japanese market being so big and so huge, that it's going to be an influx to that other team and market. So what the Dodgers are doing, what's that saying, Joe, in stocks? All tides raise ships. Whatever that saying is. So Major League Baseball wants this to work for the Dodgers. They want it to happen. They want all the ships to rise. And if you look around in an era where you see where everyone's crying about what the Dodgers are doing, and if you conversely look at what's going on in the NBA and you look at the popularity of each sport, they're turning in two different directions. And everyone needs a villain. And the Major League Baseball needs a villain. And now the Dodgers are the villain. They are the new evil empire. And that evil empire is going to be a cash cow and must-see TV for Major League Baseball. And just wait till the next World Baseball Classic, and you will see the true impact of this. And no one's going to have a problem with it when it comes to those who are in these closed-door meetings, because they're going to be printing paper the color of Joe's shirt for the next 15 to 20 years off what the Dodgers are doing now. Now, they may have to try to sell to their fan base that they may not love it, but there's going to be an understanding in the back channels. And I think what happens, Joe, I don't see the Players Association nor the agents ever putting a salary cap in baseball. I don't see them taking away deferrals. I don't see this, because this is not something that is illegal. This is not something that other teams could not take the Dodgers luxury tax money and do themselves. You can't do it. You can't punish an organization for being smarter than you, working harder than you, being better than you. They were in Japan 3 years ago looking at Roki. They were first. That's why they got him. They were on Hae-Sung Kim first. That's why they got him. They were trying to get Otani first, but there was no DH, or they would have had him then. And that's why they got him. You want to be as good as the Dodgers? Be as good as the Dodgers. Point blank, period. Build your organization, top to bottom, grade A. Joe talked about it. They're redoing their visitor clubhouse to promote to them when they're in their clubhouse. They have an executive chef, Joe. They have an executive chef in visitor dugouts this year. I'm dugout clubhouses this year. Everyone else is giving Jersey Mikes. I love Jersey Mikes, but what I was saying, you know what I mean? So it's different, Joe, and that's where I think baseball is going.
Jersey Mikes again. There's a place for Jersey Mikes, but when you're a $1 billion company, you can't be serving Jersey Mikes.
No, you gotta have some Wagyu or some like, you gotta have filet. But they've got executive chefs going to be in the visitor clubhouse this season. And it's just, I mean, and there's probably like contract terms grilled into the bottom of that steak. But what I'm saying is, man, you can't look. Every other team can spend these resources, Joe, And the best part about it is the experience that the Dodgers give to the major league players, they give to their minor league players. And it's insane. It's insane.
It is, because I keep using the comparison to the 80s Niners. It resonates nonstop. And it really started after seeing what they did post World Series immediately, where they were just, the whole time, being in construction, I feel like I have a pretty good feel on timelines. And I'm sitting there like, man, this is a hell of a risk. I mean, it's one thing to start this thing after the season's over in September, but these guys went, another month, and anything can go wrong. I mean, look at what's going on with the fires. Like, that could have derailed all this, right? Yep. So there must have been something. There must have been something where they're like, look, we're going to be able to get this done in a certain amount of time. We'll take our time now, but if we needed to speed things up, we got a plan. They've got this thing organized so well. When I say this thing, I'm talking about the organization, from everything, from every bolt, from every nail, every screw. It's on point. And folks, I can't tell you how excited I am for that. Not because I'm a Dodger fan. This is going to shock you. It's not just a Dodger thing. This is what I've been telling everyone for the last 10 years. Stop thinking Walmart. You sit there and you whine and you bitch and you wonder why certain people aren't doing things that you want them to do. You're upset with politicians. You're upset with people who own businesses. You're upset with all this garbage. People that are video game buffs that don't like what's going on in the industry. They don't bring out a game the way they used to. You know why this is, guys? It's from greed. And the reason why that greed is there is because you've allowed yourself to accept shit. Do not accept shit in anything. Do not accept it. I'm not trying to get on a soapbox here to tell you how to live your life. It's an explanation on the difference of being great versus Walmart. And yes, I'm going to keep pounding on Walmart because that's what we've become. We've become cheap, 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 cheap. I got to go cheap, Joe. I can't afford this. I can't afford that. Did you prepare? Did you prepare? Did you not look at the history of life? It's like this. Recession, no recession. Inflation, no inflation. Real estate has gone up 10. Real estate, I learned this in 2000, Jeff. 2000. That was 25 years ago. They said in 1930, since now, real estate in Southern California, hell, I think it was even California at that point, doubles every 10 and a half years. 1930, why was it going to change 25 years later? Get off your ass. Buy a house. You want to know when I bought a house? I bought a house after the crash. Right after. We're sitting there and I'm like, we better buy now because this shit is bad. And the reason why we were okay is because I don't put my money in bullshit. I don't put my money in cheap garbage. I have done bad investments. I've bought stuff I probably shouldn't have bought, but never to the extent where it changed who I was. I want quality. What are we getting with the Dodgers? I never expected this, so I'm in shock still. I'm still kind of in shock. And it really didn't hit till this year. When I saw them renovating Dodger Stadium, it was like a click. It was there, it was lingering, but it didn't really click to me like, my God, these guys are really like, every time, I'm imagining every time I know the owners in baseball don't care, right? But let's just say the fan bases, they're just like when Brady would win, just like how Patrick Mahomes is winning. Folks, people don't like winners when they're losers. And you got to look at those people. And you got to do one of two things. You'll know after a few conversations with them. Look, are you going to cry about not being able to be here? Or are you going to work your ass off to get here? This is America, baby. This is America. Okay? God rest his soul. My father used to say, in this place, you have a chance here. You want to go create this special doorknob? And my dad wasn't a preacher. We would just get into discussions watching the Dodgers playing or whatever. It's like, look, in America, you go. You want to make a better doorknob, you can go over there, do it, and you'll be rich. Like that's you think it's like that everywhere else? Go get good luck. And in the end, the Dodgers are not only putting baseball on notice, they're putting everybody on notice. Maybe not the NFL teams, but at the same time, what was that survey that came out with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers? They had like Fs in how they took care of their people. And these assholes are getting billions of dollars from all these TV contracts. They're guaranteed money coming in no matter who they are, who owns the team. Half the freaking owners in the NFL are all trust fund babies who don't know their ass from their ear as adults, okay? Those guys are getting graded like shit because they're just cutting costs. But because they're making that money, you don't know it. Oh, well, they have a hard cap and they have this. Look what's going on in Dallas, folks. Who's richer than Jerry Jones in sports? No one. Not even in the whole world. Dallas Cowboys is number one. The whole world. What has that done for the Dallas Cowboys? What has it done? You know what it's done, Jeff?
Nada.
Zero NFC Championship appearances since 1996. And that wasn't even the right year. That's the year it flipped over to. It was actually 95 season, the last time they won a Super Bowl. So you want to be a winner? Or do you want to just have the money? Or do you want to just save the money for what? So they can go buy cigarettes, go buy drinks? Like, what the fuck do you do with your money, people? Seriously, what do you do? Go buy, I don't know, go buy a second car that you don't know? I don't know what you do with your money, but respect success, respect greatness. The more you do that, the better your life will live, or better your life will be. That's my advice. So I think a lot of people are happy that you're here, Jeff. This is the first time we've done this, obviously, on my side, and it's not going to be the last. I had reiterated that we're going to be doing some stuff at spring training. See, I'm still in football mode. Training camp. Spring training. Football is my first love. Although my first cheer was a baseball team. But it's just, I don't know, man. I think the next thing is what are the Dodgers going to do in terms of thinning out the 40-man roster? I think that's probably what's next, so that Kershaw and likely Kike make an appearance too, right? Is that where they're going?
Yeah, they don't have to. So the way it goes right now is I don't expect Kike or Kershaw to sign until right about spring training, because when they could do is they can sign Kershaw, immediately put him on the 60-day IL, and they open up like 5 more slots when they get to spring training. I think deals are agreed upon basically on both those, and it's not tampering. It's their own players. They've been talking to them. It's just a waiting until the roster opens up. I think a lot of people misconstrued thinking they had to open up a spot for Roki too. They don't. He's a minor leaguer. So Tanner Scott got the 40th slot. So now they're going to sit, they'll wait, and they will add Kershaw, immediately add him. They'll move Gavin Stone. They'll move River Ryan. They'll move all these guys off the roster. They're going to open up slots. And then you'll have the spot there for Kike. You'll have the spot there for Kershaw and some type of like random retread that the whole league has casted off, and the Dodgers will bring him in and he'll be pitching in October, right? So it's like they'll be fine. This is all worked out. I think as far as any type of significant move goes, not that Kike or Kershaw isn't significant from different perspectives, but I think as far as any type of big names outside, that's done. The only thing I could kind of think that might still be somewhat out there is what do they do with Chris Taylor? I think that's the only thing to be considered. And right now, Joe, I'm leaning towards they probably keep him. And I'm not going to sit here and say whether I think that's a good or bad idea. I just, from what I'm hearing, the Dodgers don't feel like they have to get rid of him. They do appreciate him. They value him. And the Dodgers don't want to be known as a team who just throws away their players when they find someone better. So the things that they did was sticking with Buehler. They're sticking with Bobby Miller. They stuck with Kershaw. They're sticking with the guys who helped them get here. Obviously, Miller didn't help them get here. But what I'm saying is the Dodgers typically stay a little bit more loyal to their players than an average organization. And just look what they're doing for Andrew Toles on an annual basis, right? This is why. Another thing that people just don't ever talk about. And for those who don't know that story, I'm not going to go in great depth about it, but look it up. It's incredible what they've done for him. But so as far as rosters go, they're kind of set, and they'll wait it out till spring training. Kike will play in spring training. Kershaw won't, but they're going to wait till it gets to that point. They will sign Kershaw, move him to the 60-day DL, add Kike probably retroactively immediately after that, kind of like what you saw with Roki and then Tanner Scott. These things, a lot of these guys are kind of paired together. And this is exactly what Boston was trying to do. They were trying to get Bregman to then get Tanner Scott. They weren't going to just get him. So they didn't get the commitment from Bregman. So they couldn't, they had, what I heard was there was an $80 million offer on the table from Boston. You're going to hear out there that Boston offered more money. That's incorrect. They offered $80 million in contingent with Bregman signing. So there was an $80 million offer that was there, hypothetically, but it wasn't real. There was no contract sent until Bregman signed. They were going to overpay on Tanner if it meant they got Bregman. They have not secured Bregman. Tanner, therefore, was not theirs. Dodgers gave him a deadline. He said, I'm not waiting. Boom, here we go. And that's exactly what happened. Okay. So Cubs were never in it that deep. They weren't there. Last I heard, the Cubs were in the 60s when it came to him then. And that was just talk. There was never a real offer. It came down just like a lot of things, quote unquote, did. Dodgers and Red Sox. Red Sox were never real. Dodgers were. Got them. And that's kind of where the roster is. And one thing I disagree with you, Joe. I don't think it's people showing up and saying happy that I'm here. I think people are happy that you launched a show announcing that you're doing a Dodgers show. I think people have been waiting for this. I'm here for it. But I think people are really happy about you doing this. And I'm happy to be here as part of it. And yes, I will be here more. Again, basketball has kind of, in my ADD mind, my mind is not able to grab it right now. I'm doing my best to try, but my mind is very weird, and I don't do things that I have no interest in. I just don't do it. I'm not going to get up here and fake the funk, right? I can't do it. You guys will know it in a second. You'll know it. My heart's not in it, and I can't do a show if my heart's not in it. So Joe knows this. I'm weird. Like it's like, what do you like a job? I'm not feeling it, man. I don't plan. I just press record. I go. Like if I'm not feeling it, I can't do it. But Joe said he was doing this. I felt that. I was like, all right, I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna push back what I was gonna do later. He's doing this. I want to come support him. He's always supporting me, right? And so came home, jumped on here, did this. But I think people are excited that you're doing this, Joe, because you should, and we need this. So shout out to Joe and Dodgers fast pitch, and this is gonna be exciting. This is gonna be exciting, and dual channels. He'll be doing it. I'll be doing it. We'll be joining up, right? So this is gonna be fun, and this is the beginning of the blue era, the blue wave, the golden era, whatever you want to call it, of Dodger baseball, man. And for those who've been in the trenches and waiting on this, went through the McCourt years, went through the Fox years, the Murdoch years. My grandfather worked for Murdoch, and let me tell you, I could not wait for that MF to be gone. But it was this has been in the making. And for anyone who sits back and says like this is overnight, or like this is no, we earned this shit, man. For those who stayed down, stayed true, well, it had World Series robbed from us multiple times, had just bad luck multiple times. And no, we earned this. And for all those who tried to take away our championships, tried to call us Mickey Mouse, tried to call us everything under the sun, you are reaping what you sow right now. This is what you wanted, Padre fans. You wanted this. You wanted this rivalry. You're in it. You're in it now. Like, you wanted this. Live it. You're in it, right? Ask the Giants, like of the last handful of years. Like it's done. It is done. The NL West is still going to be scary for everyone else in the league. They will challenge the Dodgers at times, right? But at the end of the day, you can't throw tantrums when your team spent money they didn't have, knowing they didn't have a TV deal, knowing that they couldn't make payroll, and then you go sign 6 shortstops and think you're going to move them around the diamond everywhere. It's a bad business plan. You can't be mad at our team for having a good business plan when your team has a bad business plan. And that's kind of where it's at. And we're going to hear this. And like Joe said, we don't really pour it on or rub it in until we just defend, right? We go offensively as a reaction of defense. We don't come looking for you. You guys come looking for us. Be careful what you look for. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might find it.
Yeah, it's an important thing to understand too. Is for me, from a baseball standpoint, I don't have a lot of knowledgeable baseball people in my life. It's very few and far between. And even those who follow baseball don't know anything about baseball. They don't even know how to spot a slider. They don't even know how to spot a curve.
Mhm.
I mean, come on, you should be able to spot a curve at least. Sliders, changeups, I can see. I'll give you that one. So you'll hear me say a lot is I let the market dictate. I let the market dictate what I'm going to do. So I'll give you a couple examples. One in the real world and one here on the podcast world. So when I was in the artificial turf business, just selling the product as a wholesaler because I felt like there was a need for it. You could see it, right? There was now demand not too long after that someone wanted us to install it. And I did not want to install it. I didn't want to deal with people. I didn't want to deal with any of that nonsense, the licensing and all that. But what happened was the market started screaming at me, we want you to do this. And when the market says you need to do something and there's monetarily things going on there that are going to make sense, you have to address it. You can't sit there and go, should I invest in Microsoft in 1983 or not? It might go well. Well, just give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? You lose a few $1,000. So what? What are you going to do? Make more money. This is America, right? The Departed. That was a Departed line, by the way. Make more money. You're a fucking douchebag, And in my, I'd say I was in the darkest place as a Laker fan at the draft. That I knew it was coming, but I was trying to speak it out of existence. When they ended up drafting, who, I said, fuck this team. Seriously. F everything. I'm not going to support this garbage. These guys are not interested in winning. I don't know who the hell this team is. The crowd started messaging me and emailing me going, Joe, please, where are you going? Don't go anywhere. Folks, this part right here is about the crowd. And a lot of famous people, I understand there's some crazy people out there and you got to be careful. Believe me, I understand. But there will be a time, if you're big enough, if you're going to go after this, if you really truly want this, there is a time where you're going to have to understand that it's the crowd's show. Your image was built by the people who support it. And there wasn't necessarily screaming on this, but there was a need to be fulfilled on my end. Like, look, I can finally talk to someone and people that know this one thing that no one around me knows. And I enjoy talking about Dodger baseball. I would be dead in the water. No one in my life watches baseball, barely anybody. And those who do are just not in it. So what's the conversation? And then to have the fact, and not only that, to have the modern day Dr. Bus run business with more resources. Come on, folks. How can we not get into this? Because these guys need to be praised more than the Dodgers winning. Because I can do this and support the Dodgers without doing a show into that. But now, on my end, the feeling I have on this now is that there needs to be the biggest bullhorn on the planet to address what's killing society. And that is cheap, cheap, cheap. I want you guys to take some of this, what the Dodgers are doing. They don't have to do this. Guggenheims did not have to do this. You know how long the Guggenheims have been rich? Watch the Titanic, and you'll hear the name Guggenheim. Watch Titanic. I'm not talking about watching. That's how deep those guys are. They mentioned them in Titanic. So, and when you have people that have already owned for centuries, then operate how the fans want you to operate on top of that, what more reward can you give that owner than to pay to go watch their team play, to set a positive light on what they're doing and praise those people who are with me. Look at the dugout, guys. You see these guys when they score. This is not fabrication, man.
No,
it's
not at all.
Real, man. Teoscar is crying at the parade. You know why I think he was crying, Jeff? I think he was scared a little bit that he might not be there.
Yeah, that it was ending.
That was what was hinting a little bit. He might have felt, no, I'm going to be here, but he said, damn it, I really want to come back, and I don't know all the way. There's no other way. There's no other way. And I don't, man, when LA loves you, man, LA, Rajah Bell, man, you want to know how much LA loved Kobe? I don't know if a lot of people know this. When Rajah Bell clotheslined Kobe, did you all know that Rajah Bell got, I don't know if it was exactly this source, but that's what I heard. A lot of these are lies. But word came out that he had a death threat from Mexican mafia.
Yep.
Right. By the way, everything in Southern California, any kind of like, if somebody gets caught with a dime bag, it's the Mexican mafia. So I'm not gonna hold my hat up on that one. That's what was
I've
said.
never heard the story though.
Right.
Story, yeah.
So Rajah Bell got threatened, and mind you, Kobe got up. He actually didn't get up right away. He just kind of looked around and said, "Shit, all right, I guess this is how it's gonna be." He got up, popping the collar, doing whatever he was doing.
Gave that nod.
Right. And then, of course, we get news that Rajah got threatened. And that symbolized how much people loved Kobe, especially LA. And Kobe would even talk about this so that you guys know the difference between Orange County and LA. A lot of people who say LA Angels, let me tell you the difference between LA Angels and the LA Dodgers, okay? This is coming from Kobe. Kobe lived in Newport Beach. Kobe used to go to a Baskin-Robbins with his kids, and he would be able to order ice cream with his kids. Sure, some people would come, get an autograph and, picture, but it was normal. They didn't go nuts. He said that if I did that in LA, I'd be done. Like, I'd be ripped apart. They love that, man, and that's a lot of the reasons why whenever LeBron signed and they started doing murals about him, that's why they start spray painting. Like, motherfuckers, you ain't fucking, LeBron ain't fucking Kobe. LeBron ain't Kobe. LeBron ain't LA. This isn't just the last couple of years that LA has been a little wishy-washy with LeBron James.
No,
there's an image. When you look at someone like Teoscar, you look at someone like Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Otani, what did those guys all have in common? What do they all have in common? They are a community. And if you go to LA, what is it? You were saying this about during the fire. Freaking Jeff took in 15 people. Okay, they're a community in LA. I know the stars of LA ruin it for all the good ones, like Jeff, but LA is still kind of a blue collar, pardon the pun, blue collar town surrounded by the heathens in the hills. Not Palisades, I'm talking about Hollywood. Mm-hmm. So it's endearing. Imagine being able to be the best, and on top of that, you have the best people. Oh, Dodger fans, they get into their feelings like everybody does. I do as well. I even thought about it. Man, why don't you get Trevor Bauer back? He got screwed. He got this. He got that. I'm like, guys, step away from the Dodger blue for a minute.
Yeah.
Step away from it for a second. You have guys like Will Smith who just had a kid. You have, Teoscar's got 2 kids. He's got, and again, I'm not trying to be a choir boy here, guys. I know, baseball players can, they're probably not as all dainty as we see them, but let's give it a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. I mean, you don't hear anything out of that place. I'm going to assume that most of those guys are really good people. Okay. Freddie Freeman, all those guys. Not guys. I mean, you really want a guy that's getting looked at for doing the stuff that Trevor Bauer was doing? You want that guy in the locker in the clubhouse? No, it doesn't matter if he was innocent or not. What the hell are you even getting yourself in that situation for? Look at Urias. I remember when they were interviewing Dave Roberts. He said it without even saying it. He's just sitting there like, yeah, he's not coming back. yeah. It was probably one of the best politician lines without it being corny. I remember I was watching. He's just like, yeah, it's going to be difficult. That was over. They don't want any abusers. They don't want any self-abusers. They don't want any of those people there. It matters, folks. It does matter to have a clear head. That's why these guys have been winning and winning and winning, because the focus is on winning. Now, they haven't won the championships the way they're supposed to, but that's still sports. That happens, and especially in baseball. So at this point, I am going to support all that's going on right now, especially with the Dodgers, and I want everyone to get to really, really harness what's going on here, even more so outside the baseball side of things. I want you to understand, look what happens when those who do have all still do the right thing. They're still doing the right thing. They're out there. They're out there. And even, God rest his soul, Peter Seidler, I wish he had taken care of that thing before he passed away. But that guy was trying to win, and that's where my respect is for the Padres mainly. I'm like, look, that guy tried to win before he probably knew he was going to check out, and he almost did. I think the Dodgers losing in 2022, I said, all right, Padres, you better go win it all now, because this might be your only shot at that point. I was thinking, I'm like, this might be your only shot, because if these TV deals are not going to figure themselves out, you're toast. You're going to be toast. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I just did not think I was going to get up this morning and talk about baseball. I thought for sure it's going to be a football day. I thought Tanner Scott might sign maybe on Tuesday, but you were right. Again, Jeff was right, folks. Jeff said probably this weekend, and here we are. So, Jeff, what do you want to tell us next? What are the Dodgers going to do next in terms of getting to opening day, well, Japan, and you're like, all right, this is who they're gonna roll with the rest of the way.
Yeah. So the next three things are going to be, and what I mentioned earlier, Kike, Kershaw, and what's probably going to happen before that, probably any day between now and within spring training, is Dave Roberts' extension. So I think that's already been discussed. I think there's framework and deal for that, but they were working on the roster. They were doing this first. So I think you're going to see there's going to be either the Dave extension between the Tanner Scott becoming official and spring training, and then leading up to spring training, you're going to see Kershaw. They may, well, there's a couple of different things they can do this. They can even wait to make Tanner Scott official technically until they sign Kershaw, and then put him on the DL, sign Tanner Scott, sign Kike, sign a couple like free agents that were cast away to add to the roster for spring training. And then that could go multiple different ways. But the Dave Roberts extension, I would expect to see him get, he's got 1 year left on his deal. I would probably expect to see him get a 3 to 4 year deal, somewhere between the lines of like Craig Counsell and probably somewhere between $5 and $8 million per year for Dave Roberts. The Craig Counsell deal was a little done in the way of kind of a ski mask way. I don't necessarily think that you will see Dave get Counsell money, although you could argue he's done more than Counsell. But the way that Counsell went about getting his deal was just not your normal, right? So I think you kind of take that out of there. So I would say you probably see somewhere between him and Counsell, maybe in like a, $6.5, almost $7-ish million, or the Dodger way. Maybe it's a $6 million way with performance bonuses, right? Like, and things like that. Wouldn't it be something if there's deferred money on that, even though it doesn't count against their cap? They could pay Dave Roberts $20 million a year. Would not count against their spending on players, but just to troll and rub it in, like, look, we do this everywhere. We do this everywhere. We're even paying our our hot dog vendors in 90-day terms. You know what I mean? Like the Dodger way, right? It's just, no, that's our business plan. But that's going to be the next three to me. Anything else would shock me, because I've heard nothing of anything else out there. The only thing I could potentially see is maybe something with Chris Taylor. Maybe. I don't think they'll DFA him. I don't think they'll do that. Does he get traded somewhere in a salary dump and a prospect goes to shave some money there? Maybe. But outside of that, Chris Taylor might be the only kind of like thing that could happen that would kind of surprise me, because there's almost no need to do it now. But outside of that, it's going to be Kike, it's going to be Kershaw, it's going to be Roberts extension, and it's going to be Vesia in arbitration. Outside of that, hey, we're done, y'all. This is it. You know what? When I was talking throughout the season, I felt I told everyone Blake Snell would be first. Like I've been knowing this they almost got him last year. That came close. I felt that was going to happen very early. It happened on Thanksgiving, if I'm not tripping. That happened on Thanksgiving. And then Teo, we're convinced was coming back. Roby, I was convinced we were getting. I felt the whole time here that the bow on the top of the package was going to be Tanner Scott. Now, there was a point where I was thinking maybe they were going to have a chance at Adames here, and that would have took away Tanner. But I felt like it was going to be a shortstop or a really strong back end, high leverage bullpen piece. And when Adames went to the Giants, I just tripled down on Tanner Scott at that point, right? And kind of knew this was all coming together. So next things will be that it'll be Kike, it'll be Kershaw, it'll be Roberts extension. We'll see what goes on with Chris Taylor, and we will see what happens with Vesia and arbitration. I don't suspect that it will get to arbitration. I don't think a independent party is going to decide what he makes. The Dodgers typically don't go down that route. They just put it in arbitration just to buy a little bit more time in negotiating. I think he'll get done, and this is pretty much who we're going to see. The Dodgers are absolutely in position. If one of these guys they bring in stink it up for any reason, if one of these guys get injured, if anything happens, the Dodgers still have also a top farm system in baseball. Still, they got this all done without giving up a single valuable prospect, and they have things they could still do to go out there. If they have a feeling that they need something else, if someone's slumping, if someone's going to be out for a year, 2 years, because something happens with Tommy John, they've got means to go replace these guys now because they spent their money. Now they have prospects to spend if they need to, but this is probably going to be the team barring anything crazy.
And as far as the how they manage this, that's going to be the tinkering, right? We're gonna try to figure out how they're going to tinker. We kind of addressed this on your show about how they're going to run a 6-man rotation, even though Blake Snell says he wants to pitch every 5th day. Is Blake going to how does Blake explain that to Doc and Mark Pryor? Does he go, look, dude, if I pitch every 6 days, my arm feels too stiff? Is that how the conversation goes? Or are they going to say, look, bro, and I say bro because Mark Pryor is kind of a bro, and I'm still laughing at this. I wanted to bring this up on the show because I haven't had a chance to talk about it on your show yet. I think we might have talked about this just on the texting, but when Bueller was warming up, I don't know if this is made up, but let's just say it's not.
Yeah.
So when Bueller apparently just went to start warming up with not anybody telling him to warm up, right? And I could say this on your show because I have to curse for it to hit, right? Yeah. So Bueller had said, look, Doc, I'm ready in the morning. Doc's like you could tell he's like, get the fuck out of here already. Okay, whatever. We need you for like game 7 in case, right? He's not even thinking about game 5. He's probably thinking about the whole series. So Bueller apparently starts to, like, when you saw him warming up in the pen in game 5, no one told him to go warm up. So he's there warming up, and Mark Pryor gets on the phone and goes, the fuck are you doing?
And people in the bullpen too.
Oh my God. I was dying because I could just see like how that conversation goes. It's just like, hey, you know what? I saw the conversation go because Doc usually is always like this in the dugout. Yeah. And he's probably like doing this and probably looking around, and then maybe he spotted Bueller like in the bullpen and was like, what the fuck is going on? And then he probably told somebody a commercial. We didn't see it. Hey, can you find out what's going on over there? Mark, where are you? Mark, can you tell me what the hell's going on over there? And then Mark get on there and go, hey, what the fuck are you doing?
You know the funny part too is when Doc looked over there, he saw everyone in the bullpen looking at Bueller the same way.
That was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. I think it was on Mookie's show, right?
Yeah.
I was like, and I didn't get a chance to see the whole show, and I haven't had a chance to go look at it all the way through because I was driving and I was getting in and out of the truck. And I'm like, my God, I'm like getting out of my truck, getting ready to talk to people, and they're looking at me. I'm red in the face. And I'm like, you all right, man? Are you sick? I'm like, no. I was just laughing for like 5 minutes in my truck. I go, luckily my truck has tint. You can't see me through there, right? And I go, otherwise people thought I was crying in there. So
You imagine if that didn't work? Oh my God.
yeah. So
Oh.
with that, I'm trying to kind of get a gauge on what exactly is the conversation going to be. We know that Yamamoto, Roki, and Otani are used to the 6-man rotation, and they're definitely going to buy into that, obviously. And anyone else is going to, play along, especially someone like Tyler Glasnow, because I don't know, innings restrictions, is that going to help? I don't know. I've never pitched in my life. I never really know how to gauge that according to the pitcher. But if Snell is definitely committed to say, hey, look, guys, you all know me. I make it through. I want to pitch every 5th day. And then at that point, they're gonna work around that. And if that's the case, well, I think you're gonna see another shift in how management is going to be implemented here on the pitching side, and as well as because you have a anomaly on your team that can also DH and pitch. Boy, it's going to be really like some new stuff coming here. Like 2025, beyond the talent, I'm actually really curious on who's going to DH. Is Otani going to sit more games this year because of his pitching, and is Will Smith going to be more of a DH throughout maybe 15, 20 times throughout the year, maybe? And then does that allow Rushing to come and play catcher? Things like that. So we're my hope, because I brought it Rushing for a reason. My hope, guys, is you also got to be careful. You want to make sure you cater to the young guys too. Pages. My thing with the whole CT3 thing isn't so much, oh well, we're too bunched up. I'm like, well, are you going to give this guy a shot, especially if he's getting left-handed pitching? This guy's getting left-handed pitching. This guy can rake, and he's young. And don't you want this guy to take over for Conforto when he's gone probably next year? I don't know. There's a lot of the Dodgers have. It's almost like the Dodgers have backed up their roster with more starters. You have starters coming off the bench, and on top of that, they did it in the pitching staff, which that's unheard of. They have They have 5 pitchers besides the 5 that we've mentioned that could pitch in the majors, if they're healthy, of course. If they're healthy, they all can be a part of the Pittsburgh Pirates rotation or the Baltimore Orioles, whatever. That's the crazy thing about this. So how this gets managed, because I'm also a believer in the more you work, a lot of people, the more you work, the better you get. I don't want to work less. When I go to the gym, I'm trying to get stronger. So that means more weight, more stress, more weight, more impact that you can deal with, more pounding you can deal with. If you don't believe me, man, I was telling you about my shoulder. When I started really like ignoring the pain a little bit, that's when the pain started going away. So that stuff needs to be figured out. How you figure that out, again, that's why guys like Doc are managers, and that's why they get paid, hopefully, top-notch money here so that they can make those decisions, because that's a tough one.
So the Blake one, I think the solution is, now he also said he's open to every 6th day. He says he's open to it. But the Dodgers have ways they can counter that. They can throw in some extra bullpen sessions. And what they did was, so when you look at the reason why a lot of the Japanese teams did the 6-man rotation, wasn't necessarily to take the stress off the arm to the level that people think. They did that so they can go longer in games. So Blake Snell's a guy who doesn't necessarily go too long in games anyway. So if you got Blake Snell going every 6th day, then what they could do is then he can go longer in the game. So he can still get the innings he's accustomed to. And maybe his arm doesn't feel different on every 6th day if he's pitching more innings in every 6th day than he does in every 5th day. So there's things they can do with that. Or if they determine that doesn't work, they can have him go every 5th day, and they can throw in the thing that I've been saying that's coming that has not hit yet, but I think we will see it this year. I thought we would see it last year. I was wrong. I really think we're going to see it this year, and I think you'll see a piggyback game. I think that maybe a Dustin May game where one of those start, the other, one does 3 innings, the other does 3 innings, then you got Penn, or they 4-4 and Penn, whatever it is. You could I mean, we don't even know if Roki's going to be a starter this year. Like, does he come out the pen initially? Do they bring him along slowly? Does Otani do most of his pitching like out of the pen, like and keep him hitting and running? Like who knows? Like, I think Otani's going to be a starter, but what I'm saying, come playoff time, when you start to trim down rosters, a lot of these things are going to come into play. So piggyback games, extra bullpen sessions, or if Snell goes every 6 day, getting more innings to get his arm to feel a little bit more normal when it's his time in the rotation. All these things are going to be discussed and be worked on. And from what I understand, Blake Snell is very open to a 6-man rotation. He just wants to make sure that he's able to perform the same within a 6-day rotation that he has within a 5-day rotation. And if everyone else in the rotation is doing every 6th day, I think Blake Snell is good enough to make that work. And from everything I understand, he's willing to buy into anything that needs to be done.
I can't say it better than that, honestly. I think the health part, I'm looking at the percentages here. What is the likelihood, especially with what they've done now, that 2 years in a row, the Dodgers go into the playoffs with really no starting pitchers?
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, it might sound weird saying that considering what happened. When the Dodgers got into the playoffs, no one was set as a 1. To me, when you don't have a 1, you don't have any pitchers. You don't really have a pitcher.
You have no chance,
right?
Typically,
this was. I mean, when I say unprecedented, I'd say in modern baseball. And I have to look back in the 40s and 30s and 20s. I don't even know if those count. It's just in modern baseball, I've never seen a team blossom a ace or aces in a playoff run. I've never seen it. So the reason why there was issues with the Dodgers coming in was it looked eerily similar to what happened in 2023, where, oh my God, Lance Lynn and Kershaw. We saw what happened when Kershaw went out there game 1 against Arizona. It was at the beginning of the end at that point. But in this particular run, this was by far the best because it produced the ultimate result. He's had good ones too. I'm not going to say getting Scherzer and those guys wasn't really cool at the time, Trey Turner and whatnot. But getting Edman, getting Flaherty, getting Kopech at the deadline, especially they almost like they took turns.
Yep.
Again, right? Like even in the regular season, Kopech solved a issue because Phillips was struggling a little bit this year. And that's another thing, guys, that I heard today. I can't take credit for it. There was a guy that was doing a podcast and he said something that you always have to think about when it comes to pitchers, especially relief pitchers. Just because they pitched well this year doesn't mean they're going to pitch well the following year. Remember Brad Lidge, 08? Remember what happened to him in 09? Brad Lidge was Rivera-like in 08. If not, some were even saying that might have been one of the greatest seasons they've ever seen from a relief pitcher. Because, again, it ended up being a World Series title. Obviously, our guy, I think, in terms of closing, had probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in Mr. Game Over, right? You all remember him. So we can't guarantee. We don't know. So getting Tanner Scott, woo! Now, if one of them drops, Tanner Scott picks up the slack. And if maybe Tanner Scott comes out and maybe hurts the first half of the season, you've got guys that can cover the bases a little bit, so to speak. So there's so much that you don't know that you're gonna be able, though, to have a chance to adapt to. If Otani decides, you know what, guys, I'm tired. It's August. I'm really tired. I don't think I want to pitch in September. I don't think he'd ever say that. I think he does want to pitch for the next 3 years, and I'm happy he will be. How that plays out is probably an interesting storyline in itself. Will he drop to 40-40? Will he drop to 40-30? Is Otani going to steal 20 bases?
That's going to be the question. Like, what?
Why is that a question? And it's something that not a lot of people are talking about. Why? Because now I feel like we know Kershaw's coming back. I have a pretty good feeling Kiki's coming back, so I'm not really worried about anything. Whether they trade CT3, whether they keep him, that stuff doesn't bother me. The Dodgers, even before all this started, I'm like, I'm kicking it. I'm gonna roll with whatever happens. Not only did we roll, but they rolled and they turned into their own role at this point, right? There's like they won the World Series, they won the offseason, and they win next year. You might as well just sit back and learn. You're not going to really do it. You either learn or you're just going to keep getting your ass whooped.
Yep.
So figure it out, right? So now the fun part begins because baseball's very monotonous, and I got to give credit to my boy Gerald Glassford, who owns this channel. He saw this coming, this Dodger thing. He was the one that actually planted the seed first. He said, Joe, you should do a Dodger channel. There's way too much information on this. And he noticed that there was a little light that was flickering around the Dodger talk. And I said, dude, my schedule, whatever's going on, I don't even know if I could even, there was a moment there. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do the Lakers fast break for a while there. And a lot of that was because there was a little bit of a shift in my focus. My focus was maybe I need to build what I need to get built on the back end, my normal stuff. Then I can kind of come back and maybe have a little bit more things there. But then I said to myself, man, that's what bitches do. Oh, I got to have everything perfect. And I got to do this perfect. And then I got to have it. Man, if you always wait for the right moments, you're going to be waiting for that right moment. You're going to be in the wrong moment your whole life. So sometimes it just clicks. Sometimes things click. Wait a minute. What the hell am I doing? Fuck it. Let's just go do it. Okay. If I crash and burn, so what? But when do I crash and burn? I never crash and burn. If I'm going to sit here and yap about how I got all the energy and I got all this, and then I'm going to sit there like a little bitch going, oh man, it's got too much work. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to have time. Then you know what? I might as well just be a poser like everybody else. So the times dictate the man. I can't take credit for that one. That was in the Sopranos. That was Sill's wife saying it while Sil was looking in the mirror. He was acting boss at the time. Sorry,
combing his hair. Look at his hair.
Sorry for the spoiler. And
the cheeks out.
Right. And sometimes those things click. Sometimes those things kind of wake you up. Maybe it's your conscious. Maybe it's God talking to you. Maybe it's your angel talking to you. Maybe it's the Holy Ghost talking to you. I don't know. I'm Catholic. I grew up with all that, so I always kind of talk like that in general. So here we are. The Dodgers fast pitch with my boy Jeff. We got our Dodger crew. We got our Laker crew here. Looks like we have some new people here. I want you all to know we are going to be the standard one day. Because not only do we got the info, but we got the personality and the execution. And we're Jeff's the God. What's a good? What would be a good comparison in terms of a dog for you? What dog out there is nice until they can't be nice?
I mean, I guess it depends how they're raised, right? But even pit bulls and Rottweilers can be sweethearts until they're not, right?
So is that? Are you a Rottweiler? Are you a Rottweiler or a pit bull?
I'm probably more of a pit because I'm more of a lockjaw guy. I'll bite your face off, but a lot of people don't know that side of me out here, right? Yeah, but right now, you know, I'm kind of a hybrid. I'm a beagle. I'm Lucky in my dog Beagle for those who know my show, because Lucky. Let me tell you about Lucky real quick. Lucky is the sweetest, most adorable, the perfect looking dog. He's in calendars, like he's a model. Like this, I'm not even kidding. Like Lucky makes money, like right. But what I'm saying is, this little dude thinks he's a thug. We call him Tupac Shakur, right? He's a little thug. He walks around, right? But no, I'm a pit, like really, like I'm loving, I'm caring, I'm nice, I'm loyal, I'm all this above. But you mess with me and mine, you're gonna get your face bit off, and that's the way it is.
So we have someone in here, Jeff. You're gonna get a chance to see some of the drool, I guess. The kind of dog I am. I'm more of what's that dog in Turner and Hooch? What kind of breed is that? That's probably what I am.
Yeah. What is?
I can't remember what that dog was. Well,
the drool and the
yeah. I'm probably
not your room. This is not your room,
right? Yeah, the defiant one. So we have a guy in here. His name is Willard Wright. Now I've never seen this gentleman, or I'm assuming it's a gentleman, on here before. But he's had some. I'm not going to say negative talk. It's more just, hey, why do you think you guys are going to win everything? What's going on here? So I saw. Look, by the way, why is your Dodgers podcast host keep saying other teams are lower class compared to the Dodgers? Are you saying that it's the Dodgers MLB? Abso-freaking-lutely at this point. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Now, what I'm saying in terms of, I don't know how you're interpreting this, as far as lower class, I wouldn't say lower class, but, and it's not really the owners that are the lower class. It's the fan bases. And I'm going to say this again, the Walmart fan bases, the ones that have allowed themselves to think that way. Those guys are the ones come out of the woodwork. I'm not going on X or Instagram or Facebook. Jeff's not going on there and going, ha, 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 ha. Yeah. Y'all are coming to us. You just came to us. I don't even know who you are. I don't know who you are. You came to us and you're kind of, bringing some heat here to us, right? Well, let me tell you this. If the Dodgers hadn't won this year, I would have been like, all right, well, you're kind of right. They got all these guys. Now we got to wait for them to win. There's only one problem with that. They already did this last offseason, and what happened? They won. So now what? Now you're going to tell me what? What? Not every team wins every year. Is that what they told the Yankees in 98, 99, 2000? They almost won in 01, barely won there. I know, or barely lost there. I get it. But, 3 in a row, 4 out of 5. 5 in an era of a star player, which, by the way, folks, I'm going to tease this because I think it's something I want to talk about. And I've been wanting to talk about this again because I've been around basketball and football primarily in my life. Not very few people really, they know who Derek Jeter is, but they don't know the impact that guy made not only on the baseball field, but in how to run a career. You're probably wondering, what the hell are you talking about, Joe? How do you run a career? Why isn't Derek Jeter's career that was even run better than Kobe and Shaq and all these famous people? What is it? What is it that what made Derek Jeter special? A lot of people don't know the intricacies of why, and why I always try to put light to it. Like, look, Derek Jeter did things that he only cared about winning, and he prided himself so much. Again, back to the Walmart thing, guys. Just because you're a famous athlete doesn't mean you have to be dirty. Okay? And the guy had a flawless career in and out. So it's something to put light on. And we'll talk about that on another show. As far as our first kind of combatant here, Willard, I think we're in a position here to be a little confident, especially after what just happened today, what happened yesterday. The fact that we're going to have player control of what could be the best pitcher of his generation. Yeah, it might not work out. Sure. I might not work out later today. I might break my leg, but I'm going to be working out. Okay. Yeah. That's the plan. It's likely, right? More likely than not. So with that, y'all got to know that the Dodgers, and we're going to come with a little bit more venom too, because of what's happened in the last 7 to 8 years. The Dodgers got screwed, folks, more than any team I've seen, than maybe the 1919 team that got screwed by the Black Sox. Maybe. I wasn't around then. I'm just throwing that out there. When? What kind of explanation? And I want to ask you guys this. What kind of explanation? I want you to imagine if you're at home and you're like, oh, you were going to buy your dream house and you paid the down payment. It was accepted. It closed escrow. And then you're sitting at your home that you're going to be moving out of. And then somebody comes out of nowhere and says, ooh, your mortal enemy actually came in and took it. Sorry. Wait a minute. Hold on. I paid the down payment. I bought the house, mortgage, financed, escrow, it's all here. Yeah, but
until it wasn't.
Wait a minute, how the hell did this happen? Well, they cheated. They went around you and they they know the governor. It's life, guys. I'm sorry. Come on. Wait, you're telling me that I got cheated on my dream home and you're going to let that person live in that home while telling me after I did everything right that I can't have my dream home?
and it's just a rental property to them.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's okay. Don't worry about it. Fuck you. Okay? Fuck you. Okay? You got a problem with us talking shit? Fuck you. At this point, I'm not putting up with it. No. You want to talk shop? Hey, I'll make a deal with you. Get into Doc Brown's time machine, and I want you to go back to 1987, 98, 2001, 2016. Whenever you think you could have solved this problem, okay, whether it was making sure Altuve wasn't running around trying to tell people to not hit him in the chest because he didn't want his shirt ripped, okay, I want you to solve those problems and get us back both trophies from 17 and 18 and put it in the Dodger Stadium. And then I'll sit down with you and go, okay, do you want to give us those trophies that belong to us? And we'll give you, I don't know, maybe we'll give you Chris Taylor. Maybe. I probably wouldn't because Chris Taylor was part of those championships. What do you want for them? You want a few $100? See how it feels? You see how it feels? So fuck you. All right? You got a problem with what we're saying? You can still talk. I don't bar people from my stuff. Okay? That's somebody else's job. The only time I will bust your ass away from here is if you say anything racial. No racist shit in this house. No racial stuff. You want to say some racist shit? Go say it to somebody in their face, by the way. I got a couple of friends of mine. You want to pull that shit out? Do it in front of their face. I want to see what happens. Don't be a little coward on your little computer doing this shit. And if you're going to come with heat, don't come with heat saying, oh, why do you think you're going to win it all? Not everybody wins. That is such a closed-end conversation. Really? That's what you got? That's your retort? Not everybody wins? Well, we've won. We've won already, like both times already since October. So we're winning. We're winning now. So what? We're going to wait till October until you're maybe right? No, as of right now, I see no reason to pick no versus yes in terms of this team right here. You see how it says champions right here? It's going to say back to back. Now, when they win 3 in a row, they can't use back to back to back because then they got to pay Pat Riley. And maybe Pat Riley will hook us up. Pat, please. Come on. Pat, if we win 3 in a row, you got to let us put the back to back to back. All right? Because in my lifetime, my teams will have won back to back to back in both Lakers and Dodger eras, right? This is what the Dodgers have in store for them here. Can they repeat? And can they then three-peat? It's a great question to ask. And we're gonna be here and we're gonna put our claws in this and we're gonna be talking about it and we're gonna be supporting it. And there's gonna be a lot of hot and cold stuff going on. It's gonna be fun. You guys are gonna see the contrast, especially my Laker people. And Jeff and I have known each other, what is it now, a year, Jeff? About a year.
Yeah.
Jeff has never seen me in a state of positiveness like this. And because I can come off as a negative guy in good and bad times. Negative. That is not true. I am about the current situation. If the current situation, even if they're not winning and they're supposed to win, but they're trying to win, there's a difference. If it's when they're not trying to win is when my anger really starts to, liars and hypocrites. Don't like liars and hypocrites. Hate it. Hypocrites are the worst things on the planet because they're very destructive. Don't tell me you're trying to win and then you're not doing what you're supposed to do. The Dodgers have done everything and more. I don't even know what to say anymore. Even if they don't win it, I'm like, look, these guys have tried everything. Now it's time for the boys to do what they're supposed to do. It's not the Cubs, YYC, it's the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners had 116 wins.
Yeah.
Unless the Cubs did they win 116 games like back in the early 1900s? I'm going to have to look at that. I'm gonna have to look at
Yeah,
that
to check that out. But I kind of want to piggyback a little bit on what you were saying there. It's look, we're not naive enough to expect to just the Dodgers are going to win just by showing up. We understand the sport of baseball is difficult. We understand that the best team does not always win. So, Willard, you are right there. I will also say that the difference between, because I was actually talking with some people on Twitter X earlier about this, and my thing is this: yes, they still have to play the games. They still have to stay healthy. Things have to happen. But Joe is also right by saying they won it last year, even with being unhealthy. They won it last year with a 2.5 man basically rotation going into the playoffs. They won it last year, probably not being at their best while playing the team who was at the two teams who were at their best during the stretch, which were the Padres and the Mets. This team now, after already winning the World Series, they've gone and had a monster of an offseason. And that's kind of the tease to my show later tonight. A monster of an offseason, which, by the way, I already had that show planned last night because I knew Tanner was coming. But monster of an offseason to back up after winning. Now, I will say this about the Dodgers. Look what the Rangers did. They won and they kind of they pocketed the money and dipped, right? So for those who, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Everyone has their own teams. Everyone can say whatever they want to say. But at the end of the day, please tell me of any of these dynasties. Please tell me any of these dynasties in the last 100 years. Even the 96, 98, all those Yankees. Please tell me of any of these teams, those Giants teams, any team that was on a run, any team that was considered the dynasty, any team that was considered the villain, the evil empires, any of them, any of these teams. Please tell me any of those that had Shohei Otani. So this is where it gets different, okay? And I understand where you guys are coming from with the cliches. But just like we sat back and said, what have I kept telling you guys for about a year now? We have to change our thinking. That $680 million deferment changes everything. So when everyone kept saying the Dodgers don't spend on relievers, I'm like, change your thinking. The Dodgers aren't about to pay Tasker that much money. Change your thinking, okay? Because what it really is about is when Shohei agreed to that $700 million deal, the Dodgers were ready to pay that. Their Dodgers were ready to pay $70 million a year. Shohei came into the office and sat down and said, hey, what do you think about this? And the Dodgers, they said the Dodgers couldn't even talk. They just looked around the room. They said it was so quiet that they thought they misunderstood him. Like when he said it. Like, can you text us this and make sure this is going to bring the AI in. Bring the AI in. Like everyone was like, did this sign now before someone tells him not to do this. But anyways, when he did that, this changed everything. So not only did none of those teams have Shohei Otani, none of them had Shohei Otani with $680 million in deferred that they are paying back with compound interest while making money off the Japanese market, while adding another Japanese stud. So what they are doing, none of these other teams who have done this before did before. This is all new. This is all new. So we have to throw away the old cliches because we're building new ones. We're building new ones. And in the past, and yes, baseball, you can still lose to a lesser team. I don't care who you are. You can still lose to a lesser team. But I'm going to tell you this right now. The Dodgers are never going to find themselves in a wild card round. I don't care how many people get hurt. They're not going to be in a wild card round. Now, the best of five can get dicey at first. But brothers and sisters in blue, they're going to have to come into Dodger Stadium for the first two games of every game now. And before, where we used to worry about those two games, these might become layups now. And if not, we got the starters, we got the pen, we got the bench, we got the lineup, we got the management, we got the coaching staff, we have the scouting staff, we have everything we need to kick your guys' ass up and down the 5 freeway and across the country. So at the end of the day, I understand what Willard is saying, but you're living in the past, brother. Get with today and tomorrow, because that was yesterday, and we're living in the present and the future right now. And that's going to be a whole lot of these for guys like us to love and guys like you to hate. And we're here for it. I'm here for it. My dog's here for it. Everyone's here for it. Sign me up.
White boy in the hood. Right? Is that a good description, Jeff?
I didn't hear the beginning. I just heard white boy in the hood. So
White boy in the hood, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's going to be your identifier at this point. A lot of people can't tell on the radio or in the audio that you are, but in conversation, it's good banter. I just found out I was white, and this is a funny story. This is a funny story.
You can't just hold on. No. Let me live in this moment for a brief second. I've never in my life just heard someone say, "I just found out I was."
Yeah. So
no, please let me have this. No, hold on. Let this sit for a second. I need to live in this extended moment. I fucking can't.
Get some water, man. Get some water.
Yeah, I got. What the? You almost. You know what? You almost knocked me out. 2 nights ago with that tent line with the. Did you see me have to pull myself back together?
I did.
Oh my god, the tent almost took me down, but. Oh man, okay, I'm sorry, but I've never in my life heard anyone say I just found out I was white. Oh my!
That is why it's important to let the joke simmer in there.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I usually can stay on point. That was. I can't talk. What just happened? That was like 105-mile-an-hour pitch with movement in each direction that dropped 10 feet before the plate, and the dude swung. And oh my god!
I'm gonna read the email. I got a freaking email saying this. Are you ready?
I can't feel my face. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in the construction business, and I have a friend who works with the electrical companies who need aggregate, right? Aggregate, crushed rock type stuff. You can laugh all you want, Jeff. I got you.
I'm crying.
So of course, me being even though my family is not from here, I was born here, and I didn't know English. Man. I didn't know English the first 5 years of my life. I'm a Middle Eastern guy, like through and through, with the American upbringing, but still, the roots are foreign. So I'm on. So the first thing she says, Joe, you're gonna need to go to the supplier clearinghouse. I'm like, who the hell is that? She goes, you got to sign up and do this diversity crap. I'm like, shit. I don't want to do that garbage. She's like, you have to do it because the only way we can get this aggregate thing brokered through you is you have to get yourself cleared. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I love her to death. Or, it's like, just, okay, fine. I'll placate you. So I get on there, and all I see is African-American, Mexican-American, basically all the main ones, and the Native American and all this. And I'm looking at while I'm filling out the application, I'm like, okay, where's like other? I couldn't even see what the other was. So I emailed these guys, and then they emailed me like 2 days later, and they go, we're sorry, we couldn't get back to you, blah, blah, blah. And then, they went through this whole diatribe. 0.389 is African American. So this is what they think of you, by the way, guys. All you Black and Mexican, they put you as 1.3.9. That's your identifier. And then they go through this whole bullshit of these numbers. China and the Philippines, and if you're Vietnamese from Korea, and then the Samoa, and then the Guam, and they go through this whole thing for 2 paragraphs, and then the last paragraph is, unfortunately, people from the Middle East do not fall under the groups listed under minority. So that leaves me one choice, folks.
He off-white. That was, oh my God.
It's important to bring this up. And again, it's important to bring this up because this is what business people in California have to deal with. I'm not even white, and they make you white because of whatever.
I don't think it's serious. What
the hell kind of like? What do you mean I'm not? I am a foreign. I didn't know English. I didn't know English the first 5 years of my life. I didn't know English. How am I white? I don't know.
What's that, Joe? What's that movie? What? I'm white. Does my mom know? Was like hear no evil, see no.
See no evil, hear no evil. Oh my God! You want to talk about laughing? You want to talk about laughing?
Oh my God! I can't. I was not expecting that. That almost killed me, man.
Dude, that movie was a staple in my life. And again, I'm talking about I'm like 7 years old, 8 years old, right?
Yeah.
And 10 years old, and my parents, as long as it wasn't any kind of nudity, which was kind of funny because there was a slight little nudity in there. But that movie was so funny. Richard Pryor in my life and Gene Wilder were staples. Stir crazy. The scene in the prison when they were in the lockup because they brought him from solitaire.
Yeah.
Big King Kong Bundy looking like guy, and when Richard Pryor would start crying, and then what do you mean I'm white? What does he say after that? He says something really funny. Because does dad know about this?
Does my mom know or does dad know? Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that's now. I'm gonna have to watch that movie tonight because that's.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. So
my mind immediately went there when you said I just found out I was white. And
I don't know what brought that on. I can't. I still don't. I lost my focus on this. Why did I bring that up? What were we talking about? What were we comparing it to?
I can't remember the last 2 hours of my life right now.
Well, again, I wanted to go a couple hours here. Again, this is the beginning of the Dodgers fast pitch. It might have a different name down the road, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet. But again, I want to thank everyone for being here. Jeff, thanks for being here again. You're always welcome here. I don't care when it is, what time. The part of the show the show is going to be different. I'm a little different than Jeff. Jeff's going to be able to go into people's lives a lot easier than I will. I am the guy usually that comes into a room and there's two really kind of answers. There's really nothing in the middle. It's either going to be, oh shit, Joe's here, or oh shit, Joe is here. That's how I live my life. And I'm going to tell you right now, and again, there's plenty of ways to skin a cat in this world. Tell you right now, because of that existence, I don't have problems in my life. It's either people that love me or the people that want to stay the hell away from me. It's a perfect combination. It's kind of like my neighbors. My neighbors are either partying with me or they're mutes. Perfect combination. Either you shut the fuck up or you come hang out. And that's how this show is going to be. And that's what we're going to be building. And Jeff's going to be a big part of that. Gerald's going to be a big part of that. All of my podcast buddies are going to be a part of that. And the reason why I mentioned Gerald's because Gerald got me out of the woods and got me on air. I did not want to do a podcast 3 years ago. I didn't want to be involved within this because I didn't know if it was getting too saturated or any of that stuff. And I didn't want to go, if it's too easy, then it's just going to be me talk. I don't want to just listen to me talk. I need to make sure people want to listen to me. And over time, it built to that, and I'm happy it did. And again, I want to thank you all for being here tonight, or today. I'm usually talking at night. I'm glad you came here this morning, Jeff. I'm glad you came here again today. If you guys want to reach me, and again, I'm going to be changing some things around here the next 6 months or so. So I'll update you on those. But for right now, if you want to get at me, even the ones that have some things to say to me, again, guys, I don't block people. I'm not a censor guy. The only time I'm going to dust your ass is if you say something really stupid that's race related, or if you're talking about some crazy shit that I don't want to, like I don't do any of the, like, I'm around a lot of bodybuilder type guys. They get a lot of weird emails. Don't send me that shit, okay? I don't want some shit from some dude. I'm a married man. I don't want some shit from some fishing chick from Cambodia. None of that shit. Do not send me that shit. I will talk back, and I will put you away at that point. Don't send me any stuff like that, okay? You want to talk smack? You want to say I'm a jackass for what I'm saying? All day. Send it. I'll retort. I'm about it. I love the heat. We'll talk. Don't be afraid. But just be careful. Don't be insulted either. Because I ain't going to lose. It's going to take, you don't have enough that, you got to bring the energy. And the energy, my stuff's plugged in all the time, guys. So just be ready for it. Don't get all sensitive on me. But if you want to reach me, you can reach me on Facebook. I'm known as Johnny Blade. That's my moniker under my business, Sin Blades. Johnny Blade, you'll see Freddie Freeman as the Statue of Liberty in New York, baby. You'll know right away that's me. You can message me there. If you want to reach me on Instagram, I'm under my business, SynBlades_turf, and that's SYN as in Nancy, Blades, all one word, _turf. And then, of course, if you want to reach me on X, that's the only place I have my real name, which is Joe Soro, LFB. LFB is Lakers Fast Break. Soon it's going to have to change to the DPB. So with that, Jeff, give them your info. Tell them who you are. Tell them why you're the best. And then we're going to shut this sucker down. And I'll probably be chiming in on the chat for sure tonight with you, Jeff. If we decide to do something together, then, of course, I'll let you handle that. But that'll be on you. But tell them who you are. And then we're going to try to open this up for everyone as much as we can.
Gotcha. I don't know if I'm the best, but I'm striving to be. But outside of that, you can find me at on Twitter X at EmpireJeff_, on Instagram at EmpireJeffTV, on YouTube at EmpireJeffTV, on the formerly app known as TikTok when it returns, because it will, at EmpireJeffTV. I was finally starting to take off there and they shut it down. So I'm kind of hoping they bring it back because it was a fun community over there. But you can find me all those places. I always forget to mention my Facebook. I have a Facebook connected page or group, whatever it is, Empire Jeff TV. You can find me at all those places. I typically go live 3 to 4 times a week on Empire Jeff TV. Kind of known as a Laker Dodger guy. Been covering the Dodgers heavily, more often than the Lakers, but trying to get back into a little bit more with basketball. But you can find me there. You can find me here. Kind of enigmatic a little bit. I'm kind of all over the place. There's never really a schedule with me. I just show up when I show up and go from there, and just magic happens. So like today, right? We didn't know we were going to be doing this, didn't know this was going to happen. And for me, I feel like some of these shows become the best. And so thank you to Joe and everyone over at Lakers Fast Break for always leaving the door open for me. I got to be better at answering that call a little bit more. So I definitely appreciate the offers all the time. Like I said, my schedule is crazy, but whenever I do have availability, like today, I was out and about, and Joe said, I was like, "So what? Got to go home real quick. Let's got to pay it back, right? And got to pay it forward." And so came home. I gotta get back out in these streets. So definitely appreciate you, Joe, for having me on, and everyone at Lakers Fast Break. Appreciate the chat. You guys are always one of the top tier ones out there for sure. See a lot of familiar faces from my chat. Some new, some reoccurring. So. We welcome it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. You choose the temperature, and you pick your own weather with us, right? If you want it hot, cold, or in between, you're gonna get it. So we can see the pitch before it's coming, man. Our batting average is pretty good. So this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be exciting. We're building something here. I agree with Joe. I think we have a chance to be a really big player in this space of two-way channels and two-way content creators. And other than just covering one sport, or not being one of these channels that clout chase sports, all of a sudden, oh, people are doing baseball, let's do it because they're doing it and there's views. Baseball fans will rip you apart if you do not know what you're talking about. You could get away, you could do whole seasons in basketball halfway knowing nothing. You cannot do that in baseball. They know. They know. And you won't find that here. You'll find real baseball and basketball coverage. And when they call for me out the pen, I'm gonna do my best to get out there and warm up. I won't be like Bueller. I will wait for the call, and we'll get out there. And we will do our thing. But Joe, as usual, I appreciate it. Chat, I appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Moving forward, if this is your first time coming across, and you're also a Laker fan, endless Laker content right here. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel here. And now with Joe doing his Dodger coverage, they do college football stuff, they do NFL stuff. It's a great one-stop shop. So make sure to it's your first time here, get comfortable, stick around a while, sit down, relax. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, it is. Again, we there's nothing we don't discuss, at least on my end. I can talk college football. I can talk the NFL. You want to talk NFL? I mean, you get everything from this side as well. And this is all stuff that's starting to permeate a little bit, starting to percolate a little bit. So I'll make a decision on what's going on all that here in the near future. If you're here for the first time, understand that sports is at least what I do. In terms of my extracurricular activities, when people say they have hobbies, they go fishing, they go spelunking, I don't know, whatever it is that you do. I'm a sports fanatic. I love sports, and I am very quick to understanding and knowing what's going on. Now, I might not know cricket or maybe Premier League soccer, but in terms of football, in terms of baseball, and in terms of basketball, I'm going to know a lot about those things, especially here in the States. So, but it's going to get even better, because when you talk about stuff, you have to also knowledge. You got to get yourself. I got to get myself in a situation where I can sit down and read the collective bargaining agreements in all these leagues, because that right there will probably set our shows into a whole different area.
That's what I did for basketball. I got the whole thing. Like,
yeah. We would once I know I get to that area, then at that point it's like, well, what else can be said as far as being able to compare things? Again, opinion is opinion, but if you're going to come with some vitriol, you better come with some proof. We're about proof here. And if you haven't listened to our Lakers show, a lot of you, if you didn't think I was a Laker fan, you'd think I was anti-Laker. We don't sugarcoat. Okay, if the Lakers suck, we're going to say they suck. If LeBron has a shitty game, I'm going to say he has a shitty game. I don't kiss anyone's ass. I don't kiss anyone's ass in my family, let alone my friends, let alone anyone I don't know. We're here to talk about what's going on. Whether it's the truth or not is up to you. The truth is, whatever. Some believe that some guys are great. Some people believe that some guys aren't. That's their truth. That's become in this world. It's no longer about facts and opinion. It's about truth, your inner truth. Well, I'm not a psychiatrist, never been to one, never will be going to one. I'm about the facts. Can you win? Because sports is about winning. Can you win? Or at least can you show yourself that you're trying to win? If you don't, you're going to get the paddle, so to speak. And with that, thank you for watching the first show of the Dodgers Fast Pitch. The production value is going to slowly go up a little bit on this. I'm going to be creating it as I go. But until then, have a great evening. Have a great Sunday evening. Enjoy football. And until next time, we'll see you next time.
Stay classy, San Diego.